So here we are, we're going to mount the end stop. This is the Y end stop's micro switch. We're going to mount it on the end stop holder. Pretty simple, just a couple of M3 self tappers, and just going to screw it onto there. So that'll sit at the end. The bed's going to come back and hit the end stop. So just 2 screws. We've made the holes here so you can just self tap into it. You don't need nuts and stuff. So there we go, and we're going to solder a couple of wires onto here next to go to the ramps to sense the end stop switch, and that'll be the next step. So here we are, we're just going to tin up the plugs. Just going to solder on some network cable. Now if you're choosing your network cable, make sure you grab some that's multi-stranded, not the single core, especially if it's moving, because if it's moving the single core tends to snap. So always try and look for the multi-stranded wire. So just tin up your connectors.
So is there only one type of switch is useful, or there's a whole range of different types of switches you can use for things like this, for the end stops?
We're usually after the ones with the tail on it. The bigger ones are a bit more robust. You can use the small ones, but they're a bit fragile.
They get hit quite a bit.
Well, if they take a hit, yeah, if it doesn't stop for some reason or someone knocks the bed into it, it's more likely to survive. And that's that part done. And next we're going to put the 2 little connectors on here that go into the ramps. We're just going to put the ramps connector on the other end of the Y end stop. Just going to strip a bit off here with our multi-strand network cable. And I've got a special block here for holding the pins.
So these are the pins that go into the plug, are they? Into the plug that holds it?
Yeah, that's right. So they'll actually plug into the ramps, into the pin headers. So here we are, we just found some pliers. I'm just going to bend these pins down. You probably can't see it. I might do a close-up later.
You just wrap around the wire, right?
That's right. So you're just going to wrap those. These usually hold the insulator, but we're just going to use them to hold the wire.
Now, if you don't have these in your stock, can you get them out of like
Yeah, you can find a
computer
connector.
plugs and pull out a plug and then like rescue one?
Yeah, you could find a connector and just scavenge the part. So
Given that we're in recycling.
yeah.
Can you even make a plug?
And be really careful. Yeah, well, I mean, worst case,
Can you cut down an existing plug or something like that?
Yeah, you could just solder onto an existing with some wires on it. I think they're 2.54mm headers, I think, for the plugs.
So the
socket.
standard headers like we've been
Yeah,
using.
it's a
for
standard
those.
header. Yeah, it's a standard header
But
connector.
just with a 2-pin and a 2-pin plug, is it?
Yeah. So we're just going to put a bit of heat shrink on there. We're not going to bother with the 2-pin shell, the black shell. So we're just going to grab some heat sink mix and put it on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're just going to put some heat shrink on
Is
it.
this coloured room go on
To
top?
stop stuff
It
shorting
doesn't
out.
blow up. Or it does, the roll does, but after the parts don't seem to glow.
And we're just using a hot air gun. And then we're ready to mount it on the board. So here we are, we're just going to mount our end stop on our board. Now we're going to mount it on the idler end. So we've got the idler here. And we don't know exactly where it's going to go, but I've got a fair idea it's going to go around about there. So we do have some movement. If not, we'll have to undo it later once we put the extruder on, just to line it up properly. But this is just for testing at the moment. So just put it around about there, so it's sort of in line with this screw. It's around about right. And when the bed comes back, it's going to hit the roller mount. So I'll bring it back so you can see. We're just going to throw a hole just around about here, 3 mils. So a 4mm self-tapping screw and just a washer on top. Doesn't need much. And that's that end done. And we're gonna feed the wire underneath and through to our ramps and plug that in next. So we're just going to plug in the other end of the ramps. So the way this works, we've got X. The top two on the left are X, then Y, then Z. So we're just going to put it on the Y. There's plenty of diagrams on the net for that. So if you need to look out what pins are what, polarity doesn't matter. It's just a switch contact. So that's the end stop there for the Y.